This is Rick. Today he didn't want to be on camera, but you pressed play again and he's already walking into the sea. I sent him down with no gear, just swim trunks, a clean experiment. Even at 1 meter, pressure rises and the air in his lungs compresses. At 5, his eardrums begin to bend inward. And by 10, the pressure is already twice surface level. The lungs shrink by almost a quarter and a heavy feeling grows in the chest. To avoid injuring inner organs, especially ears and sinuses, you must equalize. Pinch the nose and blow. That technique is called clearing. It's simple physics. Pressure rises fast and the body must adapt.
At 20 meters, the pressure is already 3 times normal, and Rick feels hard pressure in his head and eyes. From low oxygen, his brain slows, vision softens, colors go dull, and a person can lose orientation and stop sensing up and down, which is dangerous because you might swim deeper thinking you're going up. Rick's pulse speeds up. He's still without oxygen and would pass out, but I had to intervene right now. I step in to keep him safe for the test.
I lower a glass dome to him with a flow of air. Now Rick is breathing, but everything else stays the same. Inside the dome, it's cramped, while the outside pressure keeps pushing on his body. Each breath sounds sharp and muffled, like through a rubber mask. And through the walls, you hear distorted noises, water swirls, and far vibrations. The sources are so distant, you cannot see them at all. That confusion is real. At 40 meters, the signs of nitrogen narcosis begin in a human. The inhaled air contains nitrogen, and under high pressure it influences the nervous system, making it feel like mild drunkenness, movements slow, and thoughts tangle. Rick smiles for no reason, a worrying sign, and his responses turn sluggish, so even simple commands over the radio link reach him late. In real dives at this depth, you already need a special breathing mix to be safe.
At 60 meters, the light almost disappears. It is darker than any cave, and a normal flashlight helps weakly because its beam scatters in water. The dome's own lights switch on, yet even with them, Rick barely sees anything. His eyes lack contrast, and that triggers visual illusions. So he starts seeing motion that is not there. This is a common effect of sensory overload, when the brain fills in reality and you cannot tell what is real and what is invented.
At 80 meters, the pressure exceeds 9 atmospheres. The high pressure effect in the body grows. Muscles contract more slowly. Tissues lose flexibility. Rick's movements are restricted, and he feels he cannot fully straighten his fingers. Cold starts a light shiver because water pulls heat about 25 times faster than air. And without a proper suit, hypothermia begins here within minutes. Inside the dome, the temperature also keeps dropping steadily. The chill keeps creeping in steadily. By 100 meters, the glass dome can no longer cope. Tiny cracks and vibrations start deforming it. So to keep Rick from being crushed, I transfer him into a deep sea suit. It is heavy and bulky, but gives protection. And now Rick is isolated from the water, or he wouldn't survive. Any mistake can be fatal. The helmet narrows his view, and even turning his head takes effort because the suit is extremely stiff and unforgiving now. At 150 meters, there is total emptiness before Rick. In such conditions, people develop auditory hallucinations because a brain starved of input starts generating phantom noise. Rick hears knocking as if someone is near. That is a known effect of deep underwater solitude. Doctors call it auditory interference. The dangerous part is starting to believe them. That risk is real. That is a known At 200 meters, Rick's disorientation grows. He no longer knows how much time has passed. There is no light, and the temperature sits around 4 degrees. So the body switches to economy mode, and the heartbeat slows. Blood shifts from the extremities toward vital organs, which is why Rick's fingers turn blue. It isn't fatal by itself, but it's a signal the body is freezing. He moves slowly, like in thick syrup, and unprotected people die here within minutes. At 300 meters, the pressure is above 30 atmospheres, a truly critical level. In such conditions, an unprotected person is literally flattened. Airspaces compress almost to zero, and organs can tear from pressure differences. Even in the suit, any weak point could burst, and Rick develops speech problems because pressure affects the nervous system. So even a simple yes drags out slowly and sounds unsure, like slow motion. But he also cannot shoot up because a rapid ascent causes decompression sickness when gases in the blood form bubbles that can block vessels. If you like today's experiment with Rick, subscribe while I slowly bring him back up. We rise in measured stages, pausing so dissolved gases leave safely.